I mean, is that a rousing movie? Come on, standing go. Standing go. That's what I want to see. Standing ovation, right? Come on. That's what I'm talking about. While we are standing, let's bring out the filmmakers of Patti Cake. As Jerry Siddharth Dhananjay, writer, director, composer, songwriter, Geremy Jasper, Patti Cake, Patricia, Killer Danielle Macdonald. Woo. Woo.
Oh, thanks, guys.
That is an introduction.
Yeah, that's an introduction.
Right?
You
Come
should
on.
be introducing the Clippers
We don't
or
do
something.
anything halves here at the Landmark Theater. Okay, first of all, here we are. I gotta ask, like, you know, where did the story come from? This is like somewhat autobiographical.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Jersey, where it takes place. Lou's Tavern was in the town that I grew up in. There's a lot of dark, depressing nights in that place. And so, you know, when I grew up a hip-hop fanatic. I was a chubby little blonde kid in Jersey filling up secret notebooks with rhymes since I was 9 years old. And then later I was, 23, living in my parents' basement, feeling very stuck, like I was in a bad Bruce Springsteen song. And then years later, and during that time, I kind of came up with the idea of Patti as a character, never thinking I was going to ever make a film in my life, or it was just an idea for a character. And then many years later, it was time to write my first screenplay, and Patti came back, and the world came back, and my angst about growing up there came back, and it just kind of swirled into this perfect storm.
How did this movie called Beasts of the Southern Wild help you get this movie made, or inspire you, actually?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, my good friend Ben Zeitlin was the director of Beasts of Southern Wild. I knew him because we made a music video together for my old band. And we became close friends, and he invited me to New Orleans to be in his short that he made before Beasts. It was called Glory at Sea. It's a great movie. It's a great short film. I'm not very good in it, but I got to go down there and see what, like, do-it-yourself, kind of all hands on deck, just scrappy filmmaking it was all about. And that inspired me to come back to New York, become a director myself, and then eventually make this, which we made with the producers of Beasts, Michael Gottwald and Dan Janvey. Yeah.
The power of independent film. That's
Yes.
what it's all about.
It's an intoxicating thing, yeah.
It is, and that's what makes just Sundance just, those 7 to 10 days that you're there, the best. I mean, it really is the best. But, okay, so you're working on the story. What were you looking for in the perfect Patricia? Like, who?
I was looking for Danielle Macdonald, actually.
Yes! Okay, so why was Danielle Macdonald the perfect?
Many reasons. First of all, she looked exactly like the image that I had in my head, for 15 years. It was like you just yanked out of my imagination. She looked exactly like her, which is insane to start. Then it was like you win the lottery there. Then it just keeps getting better and better. Then you realize you meet this person. She's incredibly hardworking, completely dedicated, and a brilliant actress. Then you find out she's Australian and has never rapped before, and then you say, all right, we'll work with that,
Okay, well, Danielle, let's backtrack a second here. So your first meeting, first time you really talked about Patricia, Killer P, and you really worked on this for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, Jeremy did the Sundance Directors Lab in Utah. We did it 3 years ago. Just over 3 years ago now. And he invited myself and Sid and Bridget, who plays my mom, to come and do the labs with him. And we met there for the first time, honestly. I think he saw my photo and was like, cool, just invite her out. Didn't really know if I could do it at all. We spoke on the phone, though, after I read the script, and I told him I'm not a good candidate for this movie, basically because I don't rap, and I'm not cool, and I don't know Jersey, and there were a whole list. And he was like, no, I think you can do it. Just come out. And I was like, okay, cool. I mean, as long as you know I might suck. And so I went out, and that's where we figured it out at the labs. He made me rap. and I couldn't. I had about a week to learn them. But he was like, yeah, okay, we can work with it. And we did. And then I worked on it for a year and a half, like just practicing rapping in my closet, hoping that the movie might get some funding and get made eventually. And it did.
And it did. And Siddharth, you had a little help from, I would say, Destiny's Child. How did that help you get this role?
Yeah, shout out Destiny's Child. Well, so I was making these spoof rap videos with two of my friends from college, and we just do them for fun, and we've created this sort of fictional rapper that I play in the videos. And Geremy randomly watched one online and reached out. And, I was going to school for philosophy and economics, nothing to do with anything to do with this movie, but it was so crazy that, I sent in a tape, and they were like, cool, you should come to the labs. And I went, and I was like, yeah, this is great. So, it just sort of kept building from there, and here we are. So,
well, what kind of a workshop, sort of personal workshop did the three of you do because you did work and evolve the screenplay.
Yeah.
So just tell us about the collaboration to really flesh out the characters, to make the relationships really fully realized.
Yeah. It's a good question. We did a lot of improvisation, Sid had never acted before, so I wanted him to feel as comfortable in front of a camera as possible and as natural. And so we would do tons of, spend an hour of Patti and Jerry just hanging out at the diner. Or then we would actually go to a diner in Jersey. I took them out to Jersey, and they would have to go in character and go to the bowling alley, and Patti would have to go to the diner and order mozzarella sticks as in her accent and feel really self-conscious. And then we went to Times Square, and Jerry bought Patti a brand new pair of Timberland boots, and it was one of the most heartbreaking, sweet things you've ever seen in your life. And through those improvs and seeing them in real life, it was like, oh, I can see the film is starting to take life even way before shooting.
Yeah, you're talking about Jersey. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, so we're practically neighbors.
We're cousins, yeah.
But Danielle, talk about like how you learned to rap. Like, how did you?
Well, like Geremy said, Sid had never acted before, and I'd never done any kind of music before, but Sid has a vast knowledge of it, as does Geremy. So these guys really helped me. Sid was back in India during pre-production. He would just send me videos like, you should watch this and listen to this person and this song. And Geremy would send me songs that I would have to practice. And it was honestly just like a lot of time listening to music, practicing different styles and flows and rhythms, and seeing what I was good at and what I was not good at, and trying to make it better. We spent days in the studio during pre-production just trying to figure out Patti's voice. It was just a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of failure, and just doing it anyway.
When did you start to feel that the failure was turning you to success? Like, when did you start to feel confident that you start to get Killer P?
I don't know that I ever felt completely confident doing it. Quite honestly, I remember the first time we were in the studio and we got the first song. That was like a breakthrough moment where I heard myself and I was like, oh my God, okay, if I can do one, I might be able to get through the rest of the 15 or whatever that was. And yeah, I think on the last day of set, we did our Patti and Jerry rap on the car. That was the last rap scene. That was the last one we filmed. That was the second last day of shooting. And that was when I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel like a little bit comfortable now. And I was like, it's a shame it's almost over. It's like, yeah.
Sid, how fast did you guys shoot? Like, I mean, in terms of like how many production days?
It was 28 days.
28,
so very
wow.
short.
That is fast.
Well, she was there for 28, so a lot of us weren't even there for a lot of it. So, yeah, it was quick.
Do you feel like that's invigorating to like know that you have to like shoot that fast like that?
Yeah, you have no choice. You just got to run and gun. And that's kind of why the film has that sort of scrappy quality to it, because we were just going as hard and as fast as we could. There were a few line producers that came on early, and when we showed them what we were trying to do with the little bit of money that we had, they started to cry or got a nosebleed or told us we were crazy and quit, to quit before we were able to make it. So we were like, all right, we were underdogs trying to make this film, trying to pull it off.
Okay, two more casting choices here that really just bring it all together. I mean, everyone just has such great chemistry in this movie. It's so palpable. Mom.
Was it Bob or Mom?
Mom.
Bob.
Mom.
Yeah. Mom?
Mom.
Mob?
Mom.
Mom.
Mother.
Okay. Mom. Yeah, that's Bridget, the great Bridget Everett, who is like a legendary New York cabaret performer. She's like a really like a XXX rated Bette Midler or something like that in New York. And you walk down the street, everybody knows her. She's like a famous New York character. She had never done anything dramatic before. I had seen her on Inside Amy Schumer doing one of her songs, and immediately she just felt like the women that I grew up with in New Jersey. And she felt like she could be related to Danielle, and so we brought her out, and they just clicked immediately.
Can see it. Totally
Immediately.
see it.
Yeah.
And how about Nana?
Nana, yeah. Good old, the legend, Kathy Moriarty, yes. I was lucky enough to work with her on a short, and as soon as I met her, as soon as she opened her mouth and that voice came out, that like Tom Waits, Howlin' Wolf diner waitress voice came out, and that kind of warmth that I felt combined, I was just like, she just felt like Jersey to me. She didn't look anything like Nana. She has flowing blonde hair. She's like a kind of a classic movie star. But that soul in that voice, I said, that's Nana. And so I spent a year working up the guts to send her the script. And I finally did.
Yeah, he would always, he'd email us. He's like, I found Nana. And I was like, cool. Who is it? And he's like, Kathy, I haven't asked her. And then every month I'm like, did you ask her yet? No. Yet? And he did not ask her. And then finally she read it and was like, yeah, of course. I love it. What?
But she's real tough, like you don't want to, she does not suffer fools. So I was working up. Yeah. But yeah, those two, the three of those women together felt like a family. They felt real. They felt related. They felt, one is tougher than the next. I mean, Bridget is tough, but who can take Bridget down? Kathy. So
Totally. When you screen a movie for the first time at the premiere at Sundance, it's different than like if you're in Toronto or you're just having a premiere in LA or New York, because other people have seen the film and it's been written about. People sort of know it's coming, but you have been working on this movie for a while, and now you're releasing it to the world at Sundance, and the reaction was through the roof. I was in the room, so I know. What was that like for all of you to get that reaction?
Yeah, it was crazy because we hadn't seen the movie as well, so it was like the first time. Well,
I had never seen the movie either. I was just had my fingers crossed that they did a good job with it.
No, I mean it was so crazy because it was like the coldest day I've ever experienced in my life, and it was like so much snow, and everybody still came, and we were sitting there, and it was like a huge theater, and I had no idea like what was gonna happen, and like the whole time I was just like, why is my face doing this, and why is there like a thing? So like I don't know, I was like, it was so overwhelming, and we were all there and sort of like poking each other every 2 seconds, or like. It was so much fun. Like just being there with everyone was already so much fun, and then for everyone to like love it so much there was next level.
Just overnight, Danielle, what was that like for you?
Overnight?
Yeah, just overnight, just everyone like suddenly, I'm sure like you're, everyone wants to interview you and everything like that.
Yeah, it was really weird because like right before Sundance, all of a sudden it kind of got listed as one of the movies to watch. And I was like, why is it getting listed? No one's seen it. Like, why are they doing this? And I hadn't seen it. And I was like, I don't even know what the movie is. And so because we were all meant to see it at Sundance for the first time. But then all of a sudden I had to do interviews. And I was like, I don't know what it is. I mean, I did it. You just never know how it's going to cut together. So Geremy let me and Bridget watch it. And I hid in her arm the whole time, basically. And it was fun, and it's been crazy. Basically, I was like very not busy, and now I'm just very busy. So like, it was like now I just don't really sleep that much. That's kind of the main difference.
Well, I want to open up to the audience, but before I do, I've been to Sundance 15 times. I saw 26 movies this year. This was my number one. I came back, went into my friends at Access Hollywood. I'm like, guys, this is it. This is the one. And the reviews, the New York Times called it an unambiguous joy. Time magazine said it's an instant classic. And then this one national respected film critic called it La La Land in New Jersey with rap music. Do you know what national respected film critic said that? I did.
I was like, I know.
Okay, who's got questions? Yes, I saw some. Yes, you got a question. Nice and loud.
This is not a question, this is just a comment.
We'll take a comment.
My wife and I saw this on a trailer and knew that we had to come and see it. And I have to say, it is so life-affirming. And it is so well performed on every level that we are so happy to be sitting here, listening to you and having watched your movie.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot. And can I just say, this is a small film, and it has people in it that you're not used to seeing on the screen. And as the filmmakers, we're kind of underdogs out in this world right now. So, we're just getting started. The film just came out yesterday. So if you guys could help spread the word any way you could, we'd really appreciate it. Because we want as many people to see this film as possible. We don't want to get, swallowed up by a T-Rex or whatever's out there on movie screens.
Well, and by the way, how do people spread the word these days? They spread it on social media. So go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on Instagram. I don't know if you're still using MySpace.
Friendster, we want you.
Yes. You have a question.
Yeah,
Yes.
Can you talk about Bob? You cast Bob in The Eye, the Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. So Bob was the last piece of the puzzle, and the casting of this has been crazy. Non-actors, legends, a real interesting combination. And so it looked far and wide, musicians, great actors, all different kinds. And then my casting director said, "I got your guy. This guy, Mamadou Ache, he's a Yale theater graduate. This guy, he's doing Hamlet. He's the man." And so in real life, he's nothing like Bob. Nothing at all. He's very suave and very debonair and very articulate and just like a bright spirit. But he came in, and just when I heard that voice, and he suddenly had he brought so much depth and gravitas to this character that I started rewriting the character. I changed him as soon as Mamadou came in. He originally was supposed to be like a Hot Topic kind of tragic suburban goth, and suddenly he had this soul and integrity that Mamadou brought to him, and thank God he did it. So yeah, Bob. Everyone knows a Bob. When we show this to people, I grew up with a kid just like that, or I was like that, or there's just, it's kind of that classic suburban, antisocial, but ultra sensitive soul that really complements Patti's personality, I guess.
I saw another hand. Yes, you. Yeah, you.
Me?
You.
Yeah. I feel like my heart is just you did this. It was so emotional, and I was so on Patti's journey the whole time. I just feel like my heart is exploding in my chest. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about your philosophy with the shooting style. There were so many close-ups and really tight shots that were so with the characters.
Yes.
And obviously, it's very different from her fantasy
Sure.
world of the
Yes.
music video stuff. But if you could just talk a little bit about inspirations for how you shot it and
Yeah, I think the big visual or the big film inspiration for kind of the mundane Patti life stuff was from The Wrestler by Darren Aronofsky. There's a character with stringy blonde hair that's just the camera's just attached to Mickey Rourke all day long. And I always was really emotionally connected to that film. I felt like I was living his life with him, and so his struggles I just felt very connected to, and that's what I wanted for Patti. Patti is a different character than you're used to seeing on the screen. I think in a more conventionally shot film, you would sit back and you would maybe judge her a little bit. You could be condescending. You could I don't know. You could pity her. You could do. I mean, if you stood back, you could. I don't know. There's a detachment. So I wanted to be up there with her. I wanted to feel like virtual reality, like you were living in her skin as much as possible, so that when you're in that battle with her, you're feeling it. You're like, every breath it's your breath. And then to contrast that with the more surreal or designed dream sequences, which, you know, I come from music videos, so I love that shit. So, you know, smoke machines and flying and lights and things being a little bit more composed and designed. You know, you have her internal world and her external world. So yeah, more of a documentary style.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, please spread the word. Even just don't think anyone else is going to do it. You do it, please, so the movie can grow and flourish.
We need all the help we can get.
We need all the help we can get. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much,
guys.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.